you for attending today's. We're learning about how to manage your own software and data science team in Portugal versus outsourcing, how to find qualified speaking talent, and the ways to minimize or eliminate bureaucratic processes of payroll and taxes. I will now hand over to his guest, Jeff Olson of to introduce himself, and then Van Sale of Offshore Next. Jeff.
Thanks, Adrian. My name is Jeffrey Olson. I work with Atlas HXM. Atlas is a global employer of record, meaning that Atlas has set up entities around the world, including in Portugal, and we serve as the legal employer in this jurisdiction. Kes, do you want to put that slide up? The legal employer, the jurisdiction, so it does not have to set up and maintain it. Act employer of record, next slide. Means that Atlas shoulders the responsibility for managing and bring a lot of the back office responsibilities like payroll, administration, benefits administration, production agreements, and a ton of risk therein. It remains the managing and they're the face to the employee. So they'll still determine who's hired, who gets fired, maintain culture, metrics, performance reviews.
My name is Kes Van Sale. I'm the co-founder of Nexus. At Offshore, we specialize in helping companies set up dedicated software or science team in Portugal. We are your top source for affordable, English-speaking, and well-educated talent in Portugal. We have a team of recruiters on the ground in Portugal that are ready to find the best talent based on your needs. By working with Offshore Nexus, your company can gain all the cost-saving benefits of outsourcing without the usual drawbacks of outsourcing.
Kes, why should I have my own team in Portugal versus outsourcing? And secondly, why Portugal as a focus area?
Excellent question, Adrian. The biggest reason for setting up your own team in Portugal versus outsourcing is that you will have greater control of the outcome. So this is essential when it comes to developing software or creating data models, etc. With increased management, you can maintain quality and efficiency as well as making sure that everything stays within your budget. Oftentimes when you use an outsourcing vendor, they will be engaged in multiple different projects for multiple companies, so they aren't 100% dedicated to your company. The quality of the end product isn't always up to par as they may try to cut corners in order to deliver on time, which inevitably can end up costing you more money down the line trying to fix the mistakes that they made. An outsourcing vendor also won't share the same company values and missions as your own dedicated team. If you set up your own dedicated team in Portugal, they will extend your company's core culture and mission, and they will be 100% dedicated to your company, which will result in better end products. Now, Portugal is our main focus area for numerous reasons. They have an extremely well-educated workforce, and they have already attracted some of the world's largest technology companies and fintechs, such as Google, Microsoft, Huawei, Fujitsu, Volkswagen, Mercedes, Revolut, eBay, and many others. They've all set up teams and offices in Portugal. Portugal also has one of the highest English proficiencies in the world, ranked number 9. Communication is extremely important when it comes to effectively working with a team. Portugal also has a much more stable legal, political, regulatory environment compared to other offshore team destinations. The government is working really hard to attract foreign business and tech companies. Portugal is a gateway to Europe for further European expansion for your company, and it is the shortest direct flight from the US. It is also a very beautiful country and an excellent place to visit and or start your European vacation.
Jeff, what about the typical bureaucracy of having an offshore team? How do you overcome that?
Well, starting an offshore team means that you have to first spin up an entity in order to legally and compliantly employ people in this country. So setting up an entity and the associated bank account and infrastructure is not only time consuming, it's incredibly costly. It can take anywhere from 3 to 4 months to 18 months to effectively set up and build out an entity structure, meaning the entity, the bank account, and then all the internal structure once you get the entity and bank account set up. So employment law, HR, benefits, all the bits and pieces that you payroll that you need to legally comply and employ somebody. What Atlas has done we've already set up entities in 160 countries around the world, providing the client a locally compliant turnkey way to onboard, manage, and pay headcount very quickly.
You have a long history in this space. Can you share some success stories?
Sure. Yeah, we've been around since 2016 and service everybody from Toyota and Wikimedia, all the way down to 5 people in a garage. We have extensive experience with all sorts of different verticals, including dev in Europe, in Portugal specifically, as well as all around the world.
Kest, what are the cost advantages of hiring software engineers and data scientists in Portugal versus USA?
So hiring software engineers in Portugal is significantly cheaper than hiring software engineers in the US. In 2022, the average salary for software engineers in the US was $110,000. In Germany, the salaries are about half of that at $52,000. And the average software engineer salary in Portugal is even lower, about half of Germany at $25,000 a year. So as you can see, this would be a significant cost saving for your company, as you can set up a team of software engineers in Portugal for about a third of the cost of setting up a team in the US.
Very, very good. Jeff, how quickly can you onboard an employee in Portugal? Can you describe the typical process?
Absolutely. So onboarding an employee in Portugal or any country in the world requires a couple of steps, right? First, we're going to start off with an employee census, which is all the information that's needed. From that census, we will populate a locally compliant employment agreement that will be in Portuguese and English as legally required in that country, right? That employment agreement will go to the client to be reviewed and then be socialized to the prospective employees so they understand it. So they understand if you want to do additional allowances, add additional benefits, understand the terms and conditions, et cetera. Once that process has been completed, then the employment agreement and all the necessary documents related to that are launched to the employee through the HRIS for the employee to complete the onboarding documentation process. The process itself takes about 2 weeks from start to finish, from census to being fully completed and legally hired.
How deep is the talent pool in Portugal?
So Portugal is a very deep talent pool. They have a high number of highly skilled and qualified software developers and data scientists. This is due to the fact that Portugal has the second highest rate of engineering graduates in Europe. There are dozens of large multinationals that have recognized a deep talent pool and have capitalized on it by setting up offices and teams in Portugal. Amazon, Microsoft, Google, etc. have all set up offices in Portugal. Revolut is another great example, as they have set up offices and teams in Portugal, and they're planning on hiring about 400 more employees in Portugal. Portugal is also home to several excellent universities. All of them have strong engineering faculty and degree programs. The Portuguese government is also heavily investing in the youth and promoting STEM subjects in schools in order to encourage more students to pursue STEM-related degrees once they reach university. Portugal has major plans to become the next big tech hub in Europe.
Thank you, Jeff and Kest. Interesting stuff. Great solutions. So basically, it makes managing a team in Portugal as easy as managing a remote team in Chicago.